taken?
Why did you leave that in the apartment?
He stole the money.
Look, dummy, I don't have to steal.
A scabies outbreak and a theft in her home has a dancer just itching to get paid. Exotic dancer Beatrice Miller is suing her landlord for stolen cash and scabies medication. Defendant Frederick Bullock says there's never been a scabies problem in any of his units. Now it's Joe time.
Let's see. Miss Miller, you are alleging that your landlord, Mr. Bullock, stole $2,500 in cash, and you say you and your children were apparently infected with some sort of skin disease from the apartment you occupied. And the defense is just, you've been an honorable man, you're a retired veteran, you are a retired senior citizen who is running one of his investments, which is rental property, and this is a total fabrication. And you've never had any such problems in any of your units. Is that right?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Miss Miller, you have the burden of proof.
I moved in Mr. Bullock's house November the 9th. Well, I signed my lease. I found a place with him. I was riding around the whole day looking for somewhere to live.
You and your witness, Mr. Wilson?
No, this was me by myself at the time. I was riding around trying to find somewhere to live at the time.
It's in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Is that right?
Yeah, in Raleigh. So I went up there. He stays under the property that I was looking at. So I called his cell phone asking him, can I see the property? So he came out his home. So he just walked me upstairs or whatever. He was already fixing on a place. So he let me see the place that was already empty that he was fixing on. So we went in there. I seen the 3-bedroom. It's a 3-bedroom. I have a 2-bedroom. So I asked him, when can I move in? He told me as soon as I have his money. Now, I'm a dancer. So at the time, I'm looking for a place bad. I worked 2 clubs. I work at one club starting like 8 o'clock. Then the next club, I leave there like 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Very enterprising.
So when I left there...
Working until 9 o'clock in the morning. That one's open all night.
Yeah, it's an after-hour club. So I left there. When I'm looking for my place, that's when I seen him that day. He asked me what did I do. I told him I was a dancer. I had my money bag with me because I had just left the club.
Money bag?
Yeah. When you dance, you
What
have...
are you calling a money bag?
It's a Cavassier bag. It's a purple Cavassier bag.
I don't know what a Cavassier bag is. Are you talking about the spirit, the alcohol?
Yeah.
How quaint.
So I signed my lease. I gave him his money right then and there because I had all the money on me.
How much did you say you had?
I had $3,000 and some change on me at that time.
$3,000 in cash?
Yes, I did. So I signed my lease with him. I gave him his money. We did our lease, which is this right here.
What was it you paid for the lease?
$1,000.
What did you do with the balance of the money?
The rest of the money that I had left over from paying the rent, I kept it. I was supposed to got my lights cut on. I was supposed to got the furniture for the place.
You kept it?
Yes.
All right. Now, you say you and your boyfriend decided to leave.
That's after we had put the stuff in the house, the paint
now,
and
you're
stuff like
going
that.
to get your lights turned on?
No, you can't get the lights turned on till the next day.
Next day. Well, what were you going to do the rest of that day?
Well, I went and got the paint, I got the rollers, I got all the stuff they're trying to put into the place.
Okay. Now, you say that his daughter is responsible for letting somebody in the house to take the money out of, what, the purple Cavassier bag?
Yes.
Why did you leave that in the apartment as you leave?
Because I wouldn't need to take all the whole $3,000 out with me to go buy some paint and stuff.
$3,400. You paid him $1,000. That leaves $2,400. So how do you get $2,500 taken out of the place? And why is it you don't take any of it to go handle the paint, etc., and then the next day? Oh, you had credit card.
No, I don't have a credit card. I don't have a credit card. I don't have a checkbook. But I didn't need that $2,500.
Well, how are you going to buy the paint and the rollers and everything with no money?
That's what I have extra money for. The $2,500 was for my life.
See, now you have $2,500 in cash on you. Your boyfriend and also you characterize it as your savings. And you mean to tell me there's a bank that wouldn't take $3,500 in cash?
I just made that money.
So you had the night's earnings, $3,400, and you carry it around in a cognac bag. Were you with her?
Yes, at that point.
Well, why didn't you put the money in your pocket?
Because you don't walk around with a lot of cash like that. And that's one of the purposes why we got the house.
Well, but you leave it in this apartment like that.
Once he gave us the key, once he gave us the key, it shouldn't have been no point of what I left in the house. He gave me the house.
Where you live has a massive problem with burglaries.
No.
Yeah, it does. You're in North Carolina and Raleigh. You got a burglary problem in your area.
Well,
it's a red-lined area almost because of the burglary.
Come in with a key. Somebody had
so
to have a key.
It's a problem there. So you're going to leave $3,500. Prove to me you got the money.
Somebody had to come in there with a key.
So how did you get the money?
I danced.
You got any statement from the employer about that they're supposed to give you for your W-2 so you can file your taxes?
I get paid in cash every night.
So you don't have any proof?
No, I do not. Why should I
All right, now you say after you lived there for some months and he's never heard of the alleged theft, you now want to say that he's responsible for you and your children coming down with scabies.
With the furniture that he left in the house.
So you have $2,500 cash stolen. Also, you had $135 worth of other goods stolen.
Not including
you
the
had some other items you attest for $200.
That's not even including the medical bills that we just received. We're still receiving.
Okay. May I see a doctor's report, please?
That's all of them, the scabies. Okay. And the bills.
You got that scabies from somewhere else. You got that scabies and rabies and all that stuff.
I asked you, I called your house. I called your cell phone and asked you, did you have any bed bugs? And you said what? Yes. Didn't you bring me some bed bugs?
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Right?
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown.
That's lying.
Okay, well, we have papers that say where you get scabies from and how can you get scabies and everything else.
That has nothing to do with me and my problem.
Okay.
That's just you. You got scabies from all them dogs you've been sleeping with. All the scabies and rabies and ticks and fleas.
Just like I knew you was going to say that. I knew you was going to say that. That's why I did my search and got it up. And he had that in his hand.
Hold on.
The plaintiff in this case says she took $1,000 cash out of her dancing tip bag, paid it to her new landlord, and left the balance at her new place. She says she moved in, was robbed, and got scabies. Let's get back to the case.
We're not talking about bed bugs.
Oh, I know.
We're talking about mites.
Excuse me, sir. I asked him what was it that was biting us at first. We thought it was scabies. You can see it took us like 3 or 4 times to go to the hospital to figure out exactly what. Because at first they said it was a skin rash. Then I asked, was it scabies? That's when it was scabies, sir. And it comes from what? It comes from what? It comes from dogs, right?
Yeah,
it comes from dogs.
And what did you have to do?
What did he have to do before I moved in? You evicted, right?
No.
That's what you told me. That's what you told me.
That's not where it comes from dogs.
Has been changed.
Yeah, what you're talking about. Stop doing that. Stop doing that.
Lying.
Okay, well, we have papers that say where you get scabies from and how can you get scabies and everything else.
That has nothing to do with me.
Okay.
That's just you. You got scabies from all them dogs you've been sleeping with. All the scabies and rabies and fleas. Sleep with the dogs, you get fleas.
I knew you were going to say that. That's why I did my search.
Your search.
And he has that in his hands. So, therefore, we will listen to what he has to say and what the doctor has to say.
Did you read this? Did you read this?
She can't read.
Did you read this? After treatment, the mites will no longer be in your skin, but you may continue to have itching for 1 or 2 weeks. Now, all other people who live in the same house, whether or not they are currently having a rash, require treatment. It can be contagious amongst humans.
Yes. If I was to touch him, from when we first moved in the house and from it being fumigated from the pets and stuff was in there, that's how we got it.
It's not from the pets. The part is it can be transmitted between
human to human. From human to human. When we moved in the house.
Did you come in contact with the dogs?
No. We had just moved in when the
Anybody
dogs...
else in your proof had the problem before that?
I'm not sure.
Now, your proof doesn't exclude receiving the mites from contact with other people. Now, you just moved. And you also said, did you not, that immediately prior to the move, you spent your money on motel accommodations. Now, in your complaint, amongst other things, you have to list an itemization of where you think your damages are coming from. Now, I find this very strange. You note very carefully what got allegedly stolen from you on the day in question. Now, you have an itemization, $200. That's supposed to be for scabies medicine, pain and suffering, etc. You have a $2,500 itemization for cash savings stolen. But I find this interesting. There's a third itemization, value of goods stolen and scabies medicine. How are you going to catch it there when you got it stolen, allegedly, with your goods and medicine on your goods and money on the same day you moved in? See, that's a slip.
But let me, okay. So I would go back.
Now,
I moved into his place November the 9th.
When did you go to the doctor?
I went to the doctor on...
I have your report.
The first time I went to the doctor.
You went to the doctor a couple times because
when
at first
did you go for this problem?
The first time I went to the doctor was on the 11th, 20th something. I went to Rex Hospital.
11/20?
11?
No, it was...
Yes, it was. It was in November.
If you got the mite infestation from the furniture, considering the incubation period and when the problem would show up, you wouldn't go June, July, August, September, October, November to go.
I went to the doctor 3 times. I went to the doctor November the first time to see what it was in the house, what was on my skin, sir. That's they told me it was a rash.
That's when we asked him what it was, and he had...
But you didn't have any symptomology.
I asked him, did he have bed bugs in the house, because he gave us chairs. Right? Am I correct? Am I correct? This man gave me some chairs in my house. Am I correct? He gave me furniture.
Quit lying.
You know
where
this usually comes from, along with, since you talk about the bed bug problems. They had a big scandal in New York. Some of the best hotels had the bed bug problem. You get it mites from the motels and the hotels, and that's how you bring it home with you.
Your Honor, we first started the initial suit was because he stole the money. And the reason why we started the suit... He stole the money? Yeah, he stole the money.
Here's
he had to steal the money. How you going to come back and change our locks the next day? The next day he going to come back and change our locks. Did you come back or not and change the locks?
70 years old.
That's why
and you the first that ever caught me stealing.
Okay, stay quiet.
Hold on, sir. You have the floor. What do you have to say about it? You, sir.
I'm 70 years old. And neither the first that ever called me a thief.
Don't interrupt.
I don't have to steal. And you just lying.
Well, you let somebody else get the key to get in the apartment.
You accuse me of stealing. Go sue them. Get new tenants, you change locks. And
there you go.
That's the only reason.
Did you steal their money?
Why did you change the locks after we moved in?
Look, dummy.
I'll be your dummy. I'll be your dummy. I'll be your dummy. Answer this question. Why did you change the locks after we moved in?
Because you just moved in. You showed up driving down the street. You saw the bloody dog on sign and you called the cell phone. Can I look at it now?
We'll be back with more Judge Joe Brown in a moment.
You shouldn't be doing this. You should be in the house, watching, eating some soup, watching this show. That's what you should be doing.
Now it's Joe time.
Let's see, Miss Jernigan.
Yes, good afternoon.
You are seeking to recover the cost of repair of your motor vehicle after your ex-boyfriend took it, you allege, without your permission. It's been wrecked. You first.
Yes, Judge.
How long have you known him?
10 years.
I see. You met up when you were about 13.
Yes.
Okay, now, we are talking about a 2000 Ford Expedition.
Yes. In January of 2010, I was working. I was having a great day at work.
Oh my, those are the ones that end up the worst.
Then the defendant, he shows up at my workplace. He asked me, could he use my car? Could he borrow it to...
He says he wanted to run an errand for his mother.
A TV and a bed. So I said no. And he informed me that he got dropped off. So I told him, well, I would take him.
Not true.
I would take him.
I'll give you a chance to reply.
I told him that I would take him home on my break, but he would have to wait for a minute. So he began to kind of act impatient, and I told him he would have to wait in like 20 or 30 minutes. So he asked, could he just use my keys to go sit in the car and wait for me until I take my break? And I handed him the keys. So a couple of minutes passed by, and I go to clock out to take my break. And I go outside and he's gone. And, you know, I immediately go back in my workplace and I call him. I'm like, where are you? He said, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'm like, you need to hurry up and get back. So then a couple of hours passed. He still did not come back yet. And it's approximately 7:30 p.m. and I get a call and he's like, don't be mad, don't be mad, don't be mad. I'm like, huh? He's like, don't be mad, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. He just wrecked my truck. I'm like, OMG, like, so he's like, just calm down, just calm down. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay calm because I'm at work, but you telling me to calm down? I can't be calm, that's my only transportation to get back and forth.
Didn't I tell you don't take it in the first place?
Yes. But, you know, since I'm a good friend, he just thought, you know, I wouldn't probably trip over it.
But Mother needed him to go run an errand, right? I guess Mother couldn't drive herself around or something like that. But, well, oh, that can't be. I remember now. I just got to the rest of it. Mother could get around, because didn't she pick you up at work?
Yes, she did, later on that day. So he told me that he would have my vehicle towed back to my place.
Well, you and his mother arrived just about the time the vehicle got there.
Correct.
Did you see the defendant there?
Yes. Well, we got there like 1 minute, and then he was in that same truck as the tow truck driver. So we arrived like...
He's riding in the tow truck, in other words.
Right.
So you got there within a minute or two of each other?
Yes, correct.
Well, you describe his condition.
He seemed kind of like woozy, like he had been like having a couple of drinks. I'm like...
What time of day is this?
This is about 9 o'clock. I got off of work at 9 o'clock. Yes.
So you're saying effectively he was severely impaired, if not drunk?
It was just the way he was sounding on the phone, because he was like kind of yelling like,
slurred
you know, just
speech.
Be calm. I'm sorry, just be calm. Like, it's not my fault.
Well,
and like,
was he unsteady on his feet when you saw him at your...
No, he was like kind of pacing back and forth. I didn't want to approach him because like once I seen the truck, like once he came in,
you were hostile.
I was like, OMG, like it was just so ugly, you know, like I worked so hard for that truck, you know. But also, Judge, on our way back to my house, because his mother came and got me from work, she had agreed to pay, you know.
But you can't enforce that against her. That's just a gratuitous offer. It's not a binding bargain, but...
Both of them agreed to help pay.
Well, it's not a matter of whether they agree. That's a...
Well, she promised me. She said, I promise you, I'm not going to leave you out back because you've been such a good help towards me.
Oh, that's nice. But you get this, you threaten to call his probation or parole officer. Why is it he's in condition of needing that supervision?
I didn't, like, you know, I could have did this the right way by, you know, making a police report and filing the claim through my insurance. So I actually did him a favor.
Oh, I know what you did. The only person you have to explain this to is me. You don't need to say it for his benefit, but you did him a favor. He doesn't understand.
Use the truck.
You have an estimate for the damages?
Yes, I was going to say that his mother,
you paid some of it out already.
Yes, she told me to, you know, just find a car place.
I don't need that, Madam Sonia. No, all I need is this. So right now, you're in the hole $4,750.84. You've already paid $2,500. That's on this invoice.
All right,
we'll come back to the basic case. Now, defend yourself. You have the floor.
First of all,
been trying to interject.
I did not steal or take her vehicle, Ms. Jernigan's vehicle.
She handed you the keys.
Yes, she did. I asked to use the vehicle to make a few errands through a text message.
Oh, excuse me. You say that you had to run an errand for your mother.
Correct.
Why?
A few errands.
She's driving. Why can't she run them?
Because I'm taking items from her house to where I live at.
Oh, she's giving you some old appliances so you can have them. So that's not an errand for her, that's you.
Okay, she gave me permission through a text message.
She gave you the keys. Okay, move on.
Yeah,
I said that's really not that important.
So I went and did my errands.
And what else did you do?
Later on that night, I hit a pole on the right side of the road.
Well, let me use your language. I was driving and all of a sudden I ran into a telephone pole. The pole was on the blind side of the street and it came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. It was on the blind side of the street. I didn't see it. Ain't no street lights on the street.
I was nice enough to tow it back to her house, etc. You all imply you could have left it out on the street. Now, how in the world does the phone pole come out of nowhere?
Because there's no lights on this street. It ain't no lights.
Blindside you. What's that got to do with it? How does it come out of nowhere all of a sudden? I hit a phone pole. Attack of the phone pole.
It's at night, though, Judge Joe Brown. It's at night. It's at night. No street lights.
What's that got to do with the damn thing? You got headlights on your vehicle. That's what they're for. That's from back in the days when everything was a hard-packed dirt road.
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown.
I hit the pole.
Well, how much did you had to drink?
The drinks don't have nothing to do with what happened. So you can put that out of the drinks don't have nothing to do with what happened. The drinks was drinking earlier.
The defendant says the plaintiff gave him her keys so he could run some errands. He says a pole appeared out of nowhere, and well, he hit it. Let's get back to the judge.
Where did you stop off? What did you have to drink?
I hit the pole.
How much did you have to drink?
The drinks don't have nothing to do with what happened. So you can put that out of the drinks don't have nothing to do with what happened. The drinks was drinking earlier.
The drinks don't have anything to do with it. It was the pole that blindsided you.
Yep, it did. Because I didn't see it, Judge.
Maybe the pole had a few shots. You know, hey, we don't know. What's it got to do with she threatened to call your parole officer?
I mean, she made little side threats after the fact that after what we did pay towards to help her get her truck fixed, if the rest of the amount from the insurance didn't be covered for the backed up insurance that she had.
Let me explain something to you. In a lawsuit for damages, you can't even discuss insurance because it's irrelevant unless maybe there's an issue like who owned the vehicle. Well, it says you own it. I didn't own it. Well, why are you maintaining insurance
Excuse
on
me,
it?
Judge. And then
Hold on. And she doesn't want to get you in trouble because if she reported it, then she would have to have gone through this whole thing of what happens. And right now, it's an unreported accident. So it's going on nobody's driving record. And there is this issue about you were inebriated, and she apparently still retains or harbored at that time some affection for you. Now, the loss of property value here is set out by the estimate. She's paid
$2,100.
$2,100 out of it.
Along with his $400.
Yes, did your mother put the $400 up? We'll round that off. $4,351 will be your recovery along with your court cost.
Excuse me?
You won.
I did?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Judge.
Pay attention.
Thank you.
I'll repeat it. Your award will be $4,351.
That's such a relief.
And your court cost. Now, feel better?
Yes.
This courtroom is now in recess. Well, it turns out that crazy go nuts telephone pole was a wake-up call for the plaintiff. The defendant took her on a crazy expedition as well, but it ends here. Plaintiff
me talking?
Oh, yes.
Why are you talking over me? Why don't you act like a lady and control yourself?
I ain't to that lady status just yet.
Ooh, bad girls you love to hate. Today on Judge Joe Brown.
Customer service representative Cherise Scaife is suing her former friend for a broken windshield. Defendant Renee Hill says the plaintiff still owes her $40. Now, here's Judge Joe Brown.
The defendant is or was a friend of yours, and seemed there was a moment when she had some built-up hostility, aggression, and inner conflict that she took out by allegedly beating on the windshield of your motor vehicle until it broke.
Yes, she did.
All right. Now, over here, you don't deny beating on the windshield. You don't recall it having broken.
I don't even know if I broke it, Your Honor.
That's what I just said, I think. I did say that, didn't I?
She broke the windshield.
In essence. All right. All right. Listen closely. See, I already said that. Tell me what this is all about.
On August 14th, Renee called me on the phone stating that she needed $40. She had let me hold $40 of hers. And when she called to get the $40, I didn't have the $40.
How long after she tendered it to you was that?
After she called me, it was 2 months.
Okay, now I want you to account to me why you violated your fiduciary responsibility to her and spent her money.
Well, I ended up needing the $40. And
you needed it?
Yeah, I needed the $40. And I do a lot for Renee, so I decided that.
Don't we have everybody being loose with these standards of ethics these days?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, boy, don't
Renee.
See, there's a right way and a wrong way with handling something.
Right.
Now, go ahead.
So, in about June, this is when Renee let me hold the money for her. When she called for the money, I didn't have the money. So, after that, my brother had died, and June 13th, Renee called me, told me that don't worry about the money, she just wanted to be cool. So, that's how I took it.
You were grieving. She was acting as a friend.
Yeah, she was being cool, you know, don't worry about the money.
Go ahead.
So, in August, she found out I was getting some money. So, she called me, and she was like, well, since you're getting some money, can you give me that $40? Well, I didn't reply to what she was saying. It was August 14th? Yeah, August 14th, she came over to my house. She called me on the phone. She was like, can I get that money? I said no, or whatever. She came over to my house. She was like, I'll be at your house in about 10 minutes, and you're going to owe more than $40. So she came to my house, she knocked on the door, and she came in, she was very irate, she was cussing me out, she was like, you're going to need to pay, you're going to pay me this $40 today, I'm not taking no shorts on my money and stuff like that. So I told Renee she had to go. So she said, well, you come on outside with me. So I let her walk on outside, and when she walked outside, I closed the door behind her. So she went over to my vehicle, and she started pounding on the driver's side door, and she seen that driver's side window. She seen that that window was not breaking, so she went to my windshield. She pounded 3 times on my windshield, and she bust my windshield, and she seen that it bust, and she jumped into her vehicle, and she drove off. She came in a little gray Buick, and I opened up my door, and I yelled out.
Why did we get the pose going on here? What? Stand up straight.
She's making me mad. She's lying to you, Your
I don't
Honor.
care if I am making you mad. You should have never came and bust out my window.
Well,
posture is body language.
You're right, Your
If you
Honor.
got this mood going, you strike the pose. If you stand up like you've got some sense in a neutral position, you tend to act like you're being neutral. So let's unpose Miss 20-year-old young woman. Okay, and Miss a little bit older than 20-year-old young woman, you come up with a good excuse for why I should not find that you have unclean hands coming in here asking for relief after disposing of her money. Now, you show me the pictures for this vehicle, and you give me your estimate for the repair cost.
Here's the pictures.
Or either what you paid to get the window replaced. Now, explain yourself, young lady. You have the floor. You've been wanting to talk? Go for it.
okay, thank you, Your Honor. Well, it started off because Cherie was going to a study, and I was going to keep her daughter for her. So I did give her the $40, so I will have something to do with her daughter. And I do got a promise money, so here, Cherie, keep the money so me and Layla have something to do. And I did tell her, you know, don't worry about it. That was the best thing for me to do. But when I did find out she was getting the money from the study, I did call her. Why wouldn't I want you to give me back my $40? I didn't say, oh, here's Cherie.
Well, you told me don't worry about it.
Don't
Say
worry about
stop.
it because you had a crisis.
I'll come back to you. You keep on and you explain to me why you thought you were entitled to go by and do that.
I didn't think I was entitled to do it, Your Honor. At the time, I was mad, and Cherie have got over me.
So what?
A lot of times, and I admit it was wrong.
I get so mad at some of the people that come up in here. If I wasn't mature, cool, calm, and disposed to be under self-control, I would calm down and I would administer some immediate
Your Honor,
correction.
everybody don't have that same mentality.
Your Honor, this is not the first window Renee had busted mine. I let one window slide.
I was just knocking on the window. I was just knocking, and we was cool then, so what are you talking about?
You knocked on the window, you bust the window, I didn't ask
Now,
you for
let
the
me
money.
ask you a question. This prior incident, was that intentional or just negligent or accidental?
You know, I don't know because I wasn't at home.
It was on accident, Your Honor, and she knows it was.
You don't have any tights or anything with S on them, do you?
No.
You don't have a cape and, you know?
When she
Clark
slammed the door on
Kent.
me, it was just like, forget you.
So you just knock on a window and you break it?
Your
What
Honor,
was this, a house
It wasn't
window,
even like
another
that.
car window?
I said 1, 2, 3,
No, I'm
and I
talking
got in the
about
car.
prior incident.
Oh, I was just knocking.
Was it a car window or a house
It
window?
was a little house window.
Oh, house. Well, I'm going to say, you just knocking on a car window, you break it. Okay, we're talking something else then. All right. Now, were you drinking?
Nope.
You weren't drinking.
No drugs.
You
no alcohol,
have
no
stated I was angry. Well, I have a problem holding my... Why don't you do something about it?
Right. Seek counseling.
And why don't you, young lady, stop trying to do this
Your Honor.
chorus? You're not harmonizing with me. Go ahead.
I did try to seek help for it, and at the time, Cherie, it don't even matter about my anger problem. It's the fact that Cherie always tried to get over on me.
No.
I'm
always doing something for you.
Stop it, both of you. It doesn't wash. That's not cool. That's not acceptable.
And I did not call, and I told her I apologize for it.
That's not acceptable.
And I told her I was going to pay for it, and she hung up on me.
No, that's not acceptable. Now, you have a 4-year-old daughter and a stepson.
Yes.
You have no children, but you work with children.
Yes.
We're watching court in session, and we want to find out what the people are thinking. So we asked the gallery case. We'll be back with those results a little bit later.
Watch what you're saying. That lady is present.
I ain't to that lady status just yet.
Nobody taught you.
No, somebody did teach me.
Nobody
I'm just
taught
not ready
you.
to be grown.
Anybody do this on you? Throw a tantrum? All right, I'll give you something to throw a tantrum about.
What could I say? It's baby and I. Sorry.
No, they didn't.
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown.
I would have gave her $40, but she told me don't worry about it. And then after that, I told her that she called me and she said, can I get $10? I told her, yeah, you can come and get the $10 or whatever.
But did I ever come get it?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
And later today,
the time came where she ended.
Bad girls you love to hate today on Judge Joe Brown.
We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The defendant in this case says she asked the plaintiff to hold $40 for her, and when she came back to retrieve it, the plaintiff didn't have it. She admits to taking her anger out on the plaintiff's vehicle by breaking her windshield. Earlier, we asked the gallery if they thought the plaintiff was making her case. 43% thought that she was, while 57% did not. Now, let's see what the judge thinks.
Why don't you act like a lady and control yourself?
It wasn't even like that, Your Honor.
Well, what do you call it? You lost your cool and you got violent.
I call it I got mad and I just...
And you got violent.
I did.
Right.
And you didn't do anything right either. Who told you this was a loan? She's your friend. She trusted you. Here, do me a favor, friend. Hold this $40 for me. I'm only 19 years old, going on 20, and I'm going to spend my back money. Do you two hear me talking?
Yes.
Why are you talking over me? You will try my patience sorely.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, I've been addressing you two about this issue, and it doesn't dawn on you to behave appropriately. You're acting like this in front of me. What are you doing when nobody's looking who can do something against your financial interest?
Your Honor, I just want to tell her I'm sorry for holding on to her $40. She know I would have gave her
How
her
much
$40.
are you asking for?
I'm asking for $184.
Deduct the 40.
I would have gave her her $40, but she told me don't worry about it. And then after that, I told her that she called me. She said, can I get $10? I told her, yeah, you can come and get the $10 or whatever.
But did I ever come get it?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Stop
like my
stop that. Stop feeling the emotion and start dealing with the logic, rationality, and reason, or the lack thereof, and figure out how you acquire the... Don't you tell me right. You should have gotten her $40 back together. Ordinarily, I would impose punitive damages to teach you a lesson, but she doesn't come in here with clean hands. Your recovery is $91.75, and you will eat your own cost. Award, you don't have clean hands. Shouldn't have taken the money.
And this courtroom is now in recess. Seems $40 was enough to send the defendant over the edge. She says it was about principle, but strong principles would dictate better behavior. They are going to split the cost. Now, we're on to the next case.
We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The defendant in this case just flat out denies everything he's accused of. He feels the plaintiff got the scabies from the dog she was sleeping with and doesn't know who took her purple Crevassier tip bag. Let's get back to the case.
Now, did you take their money?
I did not take their money. In fact, no money was taken. These just lying.
You're upset.
I mean, you know,
Why
they
have to
didn't
be so many
say
names?
nothing about nothing being lost
sir.
until after I changed the lock. And they've been there all morning, and after I changed, oh, wait, now, we can get paid for this. He didn't change the lock.
Why did you come up here changing the locks?
Hold on. Who in their right mind?
What has that got to do with anything? That's what you're talking about is people who really don't have a leg to stand on. Why would I do this or why would he do that? And by the way, why are you claiming the money was part yours, sir?
We're together.
You and your
we're together.
Statement here that I have, you're claiming our money, your money. You're not married to us, so how did it become your money?
When this
She's
came
the
on my
one
head,
stripping, are you?
When this came on my head, everything became ours. When this ring became here, it became ours. It's no just one. We're not one. It's two.
Your Honor. Your Honor.
They don't know, do they?
Your Honor. Your Honor.
All right, now he's upset because, as he says, first time in life anybody's called him a thief. That is a grave insult.
This is not the first time he had problems with his tenants. This ain't the people that was moved in beside. The people that
please, a problem. That's what it means to be a problem. You're a tenant, you're a problem.
The people that live beside us having the same problem. Now, if you sending me threatening letters. If you're so 70 and old and all that, why are you threatening me? Please tell me that. Why are you sending me threatening letters? All you can do is turn your back. That's all you can do.
May I see the threatening letter? Let me see what it. Let me see the threatening letter.
There you go. And hold on. Let me show you my lease. This is my lease to match his handwriting. Now, please tell me, if you so 70, you so old, why are you doing all this? Huh?
I'm dealing with problems like you.
But you old. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be in the house, watching, eating some soup, watching this show. That's what you should be doing.
You walk in, la-da-da, he's never had a problem in his life, and what he does for a side thing now in retirement is take care of people's money. So you're accusing him of stealing some little chump change that you've got in a Crevassier purple drawstring bag.
Listen, Your Honor,
stay quiet.
No way. And you don't prove the other case because it's speculative. And amongst other things, you stayed in numerous hotels and motels immediately before this, and it's within the period of time when the problem might manifest, and then it can be fast
hotels, Your Honor.
I'm not letting you do this.
Excuse me, Your Honor. First of all, I never said he was old. He said he's old. So I said, therefore I said...
Denied.
This courtroom is now in recess. Go ahead and exit.
I have my stuff.
Rabies, scabies, ticks, fleas. Now we all need a hot water treatment. And in order to prevent the further spreading of falsehoods, these claims are denied. We'll be right back. We're back. A 7-year itch from a short-term lease doesn't sound like a fair deal. And this claim didn't sound like reality to the judge. The plaintiff didn't prove her case. Claim denied. Check Take a Stand results on our website at judgejoebrown.com. And remember, you can give your response at 1-888-77-JUDGE.
Please raise your right hand.
Assistant manager Pascal Terwilliger is suing her former landlord for rent and a security deposit. Defendant Stephanie Butts is countersuing for rent, late fees, and travel expenses.
Let's see, Mr. and Mrs. Terwilliger, is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Well, since you are part of this, you need to step on up, sir. You're married. This is a landlord-tenant matter. You're alleging that the defendant, Ms. Butts, who was your landlady, has declined to return your security deposit, and she owes you basically a proration of 10 days return on rent. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Now, I'm just making sure I understand what everybody is complaining or defending against. And we have a counterclaim from Ms. Butts. You say that they owe you for 2 months rent, late fees, and what is this, travel fees? I see that you were the landlady, but you didn't live in the area. Is that right?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So tell me what happens.
We loved the home, wonderful home. Last year, I had another child, and we started to outgrow the home. Plus, we were doing commuting back and forth to daycare and work and school. When we found a home closer to daycare and school in the same neighborhood, we decided that it would be in our best interest, even if we had to pay rent on 2 homes, to move into that home. In August of last year, we let Stephanie know that we had actually gone and talked to them and that we would be moving out, and they would be contacting her to give information on what kind of tenants we were.
You allege in your complaint that you found another tenant. You filled out the new lease for the tenant. You submitted that to the defendant. She accepted it, and that tenant took over, what, on the 20th of September?
Yeah, it's not quite how it happened. We paid for September's rent and told Stephanie that we would continue to pay out our entire lease through November. We would just pay on both homes. When Stephanie couldn't find a renter, she wasn't in the state, her parents weren't in the state, I offered to show the home to potential tenants.
Well, you did so.
I did.
We'll be back with more Judge Joe Brown in a moment.
In November, I realized that they hadn't paid their utilities. There was hundreds of dollars of late utility fees and dues, and I was left with that on my credit. I don't feel it's justified whatsoever.
It's Joe time after this.
We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The plaintiff in this case says she and her family outgrew a house she was renting from her landlord. She says she worked hard for her landlord to show the place and find new tenants and was denied her deposit. Let's get back to the case.
So you showed the home, and you say you actually drafted.
I did. Stephanie asked me to rewrite our lease for the new tenant.
Which you did.
I did. I had her sign it. I made sure that $3,500 that she paid Stephanie went into Stephanie's account. And this was all with Stephanie's understanding. She said thank you. She said she actually would pay us for doing so, and I said it wasn't necessary.
All right.
On the 20th of September, when we moved out, I suggested that she prorate the new tenant for the last 10 days of September. It was $500 for the new tenant, and she paid that, which we had already paid Stephanie for.
All right. Ma'am, you have the floor.
I do agree with what part of she's saying is, but ultimately they moved out almost 3 months prior to the lease agreement, and I hired a management company and real estate agent to help me find new tenants. I also went out of my way to work with them to get them into the home with their credit without charging them extra, and I expected them to fulfill their lease agreement to the end. When I brought it up that the real estate agent was going to show the house, they had turned my home into more or less a storage unit. So that's why they moved out on the 20th. They were physically out before then. I don't know the exact dates. So it was hard for me to show the home when their stuff was still in it, when they had it locked, and it was just, I'm out of state, so it was a little bit difficult. So their help was needed to unlock the door and to allow tenants in there while their belongings were there. Then they found someone. In addition to me putting ads on the internet and having a real estate agent, they also did the same to help. And I didn't expect them to want their deposit back after leaving the lease early.
Stephanie, you repeatedly
Hold on. Don't interrupt each other. This is resolved not by what you say, but by operational law. It's a tech thing. Keep going, please.
So I didn't understand or could even comprehend that a lease agreement that they left almost 3 months early to then demand for their deposit into in November, I realized that they hadn't paid their utilities. There was hundreds of dollars of late utility fees and dues, and I was left with that on my credit and as the responsible party. So all of it combined, I felt that it was just very unprofessional, and especially having such great tenants the entire time, for them to do that at the end, I don't feel it's justified whatsoever.
Closed captioning sponsored by Bad Boys, Bad Habits Cost You Money? Huh. Call 1-877-JOE'S-LAW or visit JudgeJoeBrown.com.
Are you just 26 years old?
Yes, I am, sir.
Outstanding. You got another business. Let's see. You have a chef agency, and you are a private chef and owner of the agency. And you rent property. Very impressive.
Thank you.
But this law is something you need to apprise yourself of. Now, it's not new law, but if you're going to be a landlady, you need to learn it. Now, over here, on your complaint, you did, from what you have given me, collect acting something of an agent for the defendant. You collected the security deposit, and that deposit was deposited directly into the account of the defendant. Now, one thing that is wrong with that is it should have been an escrow account rather than the defendant's business account, but you can work that out.
It actually
It is an escrow?
Yeah,
Very good. Outstanding. All right. Proud of you. Very impressive. So since you got a substitute deposit, you have to return theirs to them, because you've got a new tenant who takes over the rest of their lease and will be in there, and that's nothing new. That's old. So that will be your award. You get the return of your security deposit, but you are not entitled to a prorated return on the rent, because when you tendered it, that rent was an obligation for you to pay. So she can keep that. So she'll keep that. So you get $1,300.
Thank you.
All right, that'll be your award, and little education on your part. But again, it's your tender years. This is absolutely outstanding. Okay.
This courtroom is now in recess. The plaintiff found a new home to rent, but she also found a tenant for the old one. That should count for something, and it does. She deserves her deposit back. We'll be right back.
Next on Judge Joe Brown.
Why is she supposed to keep your children for free?
Is this cousin cooking up a child care con?
Am I supposed to leave work to cook the food for my children?
Give me a break.
Next, Joe.
We are back. The plaintiff may have broken her lease, but she fixed the house and fixed the defendant up with a new tenant. No money was lost, so none will be found here for the defendant. The plaintiff gets her deposit back. For information on future cases or to contact this court, check out our website at JudgeJoeBrown.com. A friendship doesn't have enough cushion to survive a busted iPad. Traveling technician Michael Tillman is suing his friend for an iPad and laptop. Defendant Devlin Clark says it was an accident. Now it's Joe time.
Let's see, Mr. Tillman, you're suing Mr. Clark. It would seem that December 4th year last, the two of you were hanging out in the bathroom smoking cigarettes when you decided to step outside. Your iPad, which was on the sink countertop, was knocked off by the defendant. You say the defendant also broke your 15-inch MacBook Pro
Yes, Your Honor.
Year preceding still is not paid for that. You say that, again, that was a result of his negligence or ineptitude. Your defense, sir, is that it was an accident.
Yes.
And that the only reason you touched the iPad before it fell and was broken is because the plaintiff asked you to pick it up for him and you dropped it by accident.
Yes.
Okay. You first. Mr. Tillman.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to explain how I know Devlin first. Is through my mother. I met him when I first moved to New York in 2003. We've been mutual friends, you know, of each other for a while. We have a few other friends in common also that he introduced me to. The point is, he shows up to my house on New Year's after me not seeing him for a few months. It's actually the day before New Year's. And I haven't seen him in a while, so we were a little excited. I'm like, you know, what's up, where you been? How are things going? And he's like, okay, you know, he wanted to get drunk. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like something that I want to do too. You know, it's New Year's Day, so I'm like, let's do that then. Let's go get drunk. So we go to the liquor store and get 3 bottles of alcohol. And return back home, and he started to drink. I had 1 drink and fell asleep before 12 o'clock. And I'm not even sure what he ended up doing that night. I do know when I woke up the next morning, I had something I call my morning meds. That's a group of stuff that I need to do in the morning before I'm able to do anything else. And it's on my iPad, usually where I do it, or from the computer. And it's checking emails and different things of that nature. So I wake up and I grab my iPad and I go to the bathroom. Someone's in there. I knock on the door. He's in there. I'm asking him, "Are you using the restroom?" He's like, "No." I walk in. You know, we usually sit in the bathroom and smoke cigarettes. I'm a single parent of 2 kids, 2- and 6-year-olds, so I don't smoke around them. I walked out of the bathroom, walked to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, I said, oh, I forgot my cigarettes. So I laid my iPad on the sink, and I went and got the cigarettes. It was literally 5 seconds. It was in the room right outside of the restroom. Come back in, and I pick my iPad up, and I go to, you know, finish what I was doing, and something seemed a little odd. I didn't realize it at first. And then I'm like, I look over at him like, you broke my iPad. And he's just sitting there looking stupid, and I'm like, say something. And he's like, I'm like, don't even sit and tell me that you didn't break it, because I'm pretty, you know, what else could have happened to it? And then he confessed. He's like, okay, yeah, I did break it, but he already knows that he cannot touch my stuff. Ever since he broke the MacBook, and it was over. Like, he can't touch anything of mine. So, you know, I kept asking Mr. Clark, I was like, you're going to have to pay for this. I want my money for this. And he's like, all right, I'm going to get it. I'm like, yeah, but this is not going to work like with the MacBook. Like, you've been owing me that money for a year. I'm like, I want my money, and I want it, like, soon. Now, how are you going to get my money? He's like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get the job and this and that. I'm like, no, won't work. I was expecting him to go loan the money from somebody or something. That never happened. Mr. Clark still every day is telling me the same thing. Oh, I'm going to get your money. And then I tell him, like, I'm going to sue you if you don't start making a better effort, because I don't know what to do. And he left my house and didn't come back. I ended up, like, catching him somewhere 5 days later or whatever. And I'm like, I filed a small claims suit against you. And he just looked at me like I had 2 heads. And when he came to my house, he saw that I wasn't lying, that I really had done it. And he's like, well, we've been friends for X amount of time. Why would you be suing me? And I'm like, friends don't have anything to do with that $500 and some iPad, because I had to work to pay for that, you know. That was a lot of money. That was a lot of hours I had to go to work for that. I don't like to go to work. I'm just saying, I do it because I need to make a living, you know. So I go to work. But it's not something I want to get up and go do. So, I mean, if I could have a free iPad, then be it.
So well, he seems to be unemployed and he doesn't go to work. But, I mean, at least you seem to have the wherewithal character-wise to get up and go.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go to the defendant. All right.
Okay. I went to pick it up because it was like kind of like at the edge, and when I went to pick it up, it slipped out my hand and hit the floor.
Why did you want to pick it up?
Because I was trying to see what time it was, and there was no time in the bathroom. Ain't no clock in the bathroom, so I had to pick it up.
I have one here. Do you think I'm going to open this thing up to see what time we are facing right now, or am I going to look at my watch, you know?
Well, I don't have a watch, Your Honor.
But his phone was in his lap.
My phone was dead at the time.
Well, he needed to know the time to figure out how much time he was not missing by not being employed and having absolutely nothing to do. What about the Mac product? How did you manage to break that?
Well, my little cousin was playing. Well, it was playing with his kids, and they was all playing around, and I was sitting on top of the stairs, and they was playing around, and one of the kids was playing around. They hit me in the back of my leg, and then I was sitting at the top of the stairs. So I went to brace my fall when I felt like myself was about to fall down the stairs. So I grabbed onto the wall and had the MacBook Pro in my hand, and when I went down, almost fell. I grabbed the wall, and the MacBook slipped out my hands, and down the stairs it went.
Have you ever thought of securing employment by simply writing up some of your personal episodes and submitting them as proposed sitcom episodes?
No, Your Honor.
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown. We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The plaintiff in this case says he took his iPad into the bathroom on a smoking break with a friend. He says he went out for a minute and returned to busted belongings and a guilty-looking friend. Let's get back to the courtroom.
Please continue.
Well, my issue, Your Honor, was that he wasn't supposed to move it. I have a very large desk, and a 15-inch MacBook is too big to walk around with. He wants to walk around and be on MySpace or whatever, and I'm telling him, it's 15 inches, leave it on the desk. He gets up and walks. If you wouldn't have got up and walked around, then the kids couldn't have bumped into you. I mean, I need stuff like this for work, so I mean, I have a computer and I have my little portable devices. I'm a technician, and my kids know better. I shouldn't have to be on his back more than I'm on my kids' back. I'm like, sit down and leave my stuff alone.
Clumsy.
Clumsy don't have anything to do with following directions. If I say no, don't touch that, that's what it means. It's not, okay, Mr. Clark, be nice now. Don't touch my stuff. I don't want to tell you again. Like, you're a grown man.
It was an accident. We friends.
Yes, but the bottom line is you didn't bump into it. You say you actually attempted to take control of it.
Yeah, but still, we've been
dropped
for
it.
so how long? It shouldn't be still be over no petty merchandise.
Go get my money and I won't. It's just that simple. I want.
You know, there is a thing called depreciation.
He doesn't have that, Your Honor.
I'm saying for you, there's a thing called depreciation.
Oh, you said depreciation. I'm sorry.
We have to talk about the property value of the thing that was destroyed. And it ain't. No.
But, Your Honor, but it's. I can laugh now, but I wasn't laughing then, so I was Your Honor, I was very upset. I mean, just take a look at those spider webs all across that screen. That hurt me to my heart. This thing was probably less than a month old.
It was a tender, sweet little iPad that was doing so well with all of its apps and doing its thing, and you were checking business and doing what you can do with it, and now it's dead. That's terminal, man. Focus, you know, get a good grip on something. Yeah. 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 All that little light, you know. Right. Your award will be $2,000 in your cost.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
And this courtroom is now in recess. Was the defendant tried to rid the world of Apple products one device at a time?